Alright. Let's start on this map draft and see what it looks like. Good, how about me? I am excellent. I am very, very good. Been a great day of casting. And, oh, there we go. Shoals and Fez. We've got some actually fun maps in the map draft. Thank you. No Akare. But we like to see this. Aftermath, okay. And runestones, fair enough. We can't have all interesting maps. we gotta get the classic runestones in there. And Serengeti ends up as the final. Alright. I'll take it. Do I play the tournament? No, I am a caster, not a player through and through. Although I will say, I'll let this roll as we go here. I will say I've been getting that urge to get back into playing the game more often instead of the 99% caster that I'm rolling with right now. Probably not DM immediately. I got to get back in the groove of RM first before I even think about branching into other game modes that I don't know how to play. Alright, random admin bans are fairly impactful. Chinese ban is huge, and Spanish. Both Chinese and Spanish banned out with, you know, I still want to call it Silver Swamp or Golden Swamp. Shoals. With shoals in there, those are big time bans down here. DM is more fun. I still am I will say it. I love casting these DM tournaments. I'm still pretty partial to RM. DM skips all of my favorite parts of the games and goes right to my least favorite parts of the games. As a player. As a caster, different story. As a player, I don't know. We'll see. Goth's first ban, okay. And Kuman, so Auriko does not want to be rushed. Were Huns banned out? No. I wouldn't be surprised to see Huns banned out here too, if we're following that trend. Yeah, that's true. These are the maps we haven't seen today. Except for Immersion. We did not see Immersion at all today. That's the only map, right? After this, we'll have seen all the other ones at least once today. Who loves Dark Age? I do, man. I love the Dark Age. Probably 95% of my actual playing time in this game, not counting casting, is me like just doing versus AI booms as a meditation. I love it. After a hard day's work, sit down and do a chill 3 TC boom on Arena. Oh, there's nothing better. Alright, Huns were banned out, but it was actually by Biscuits, not by Auriko. So let's see what we got here. We still have, what? Saracens are still there, and Mongols, is that true? I haven't been watching this super closely, yeah. So that would make the most sense, but I expect to see some weird ones here. Oh no, Mongols were banned out, sorry. No Saracens? Am I missing them here somewhere? No. There they are. Okay. Double Celts, it does make sense though. Berbers are really good as well. Slavs, Really good Civ, so really, I mean, that's a killer top 3 for Auriko. Gurjara's third pick, okay. Biscuits has been learning from Otter, okay. Malians, interesting. We're gonna need a water Civ here from Auriko, although I guess the Saracens could be that. Byzantines were also banned out. So I guess it's Turks. Turks is as good as it gets on water. Dravidians, let's go. Have you ever seen a better first 4 picks in your life for DM? Turks as well, honestly. I like Auriko's draft. I like that. This is a banger so far. Absolute banger. Versus the Maldhar trainee. Biscuits will have to improvise. Okay. Georgians, solid. I think Berbers is probably going to be the water Civ, so I'm not too stressed out about Biscuits landing. There's not really very many water Civs left, to be honest. It's like, I don't even know what the next best water Civ is that's available. Maybe there's some play with like the Vikings. I don't think so though. They're so bad on land. I don't think you can ever pick Vikings here. If it was like straight up islands, maybe, but Shoals does have a land component, so I think you just have to settle for the Berbers here for Shoals, I think. Not to say Berbers aren't good, they are a very good Civ. Alright, Bulgarians and Koreans, honestly. Banger draft for Auriko. I'll wait for the last pick here from Biscuits. Romans. Really solid. I think you always snipe Berbers here, although Celts is always a fine snipe as well. I don't know what you're sniping here for Biscuits. Honestly, the Turks wouldn't be a bad snipe. But yeah, I think Saracens makes a lot of sense there. Celts, like I said, that's always a worthwhile snipe. Okay. Solid drafts on both sides. I have to give the nod, in my own personal opinion, to Auriko. I think the draft is a little bit better, and then the Dravidians automatically gives you a couple extra bonus points in my book. Malians are okay, but not amazing. They have a pretty bad record in this tournament so far. Gurjara's is dependent on the matchup. I'll put it that way. I won't trash talk the Gurjara's too much here, but they're not my favorite DM Civ in the game for 1v1s. I'll just put it that way. Everyone forgot Wu after CMOD 2. The Wu were banned out in both of the previous sets, weren't they? Or was it just one of the two? I'm forgetting now. I've seen the Wu banned quite a bit so far. Usually they're banned out alongside like the Catans or the Wei, which makes me think they're being banned for being a DLC Civ and not necessarily because they might be good. But Leaf did too, yeah. I haven't seen the Wu once in this tournament, I don't think, actually played. Have they actually gotten through to a draft yet? I can't remember. The random DLC bans are so sad for cooking. They're also not usually very worthwhile bans, right? Because, oh, I need to change my title too. Because most of the DLC civs are so bad in DM. So, like, the Catan bans and the Wei bans are a little bit wasted quite often. The shoe as well. I don't know if I've seen the shoe banned by a player yet, but they're not very good. Although we did see a pretty big shoe game late in the season last TDM, so maybe I'm underestimating them. Was it in the final? I think it was a semifinal. Catans can be alright in certain matchups. Can they? What matchups are the Catans good against in DM? Catans were not quite good in CMOD 2 Otter. They were played a lot, but they were not good. Heavy Paladin civs? I guess. Yeah, I guess. The healing camels can be situationally good, I suppose. Do you remember? Are you backing this Catan glazing up with some statistics, Otter? Because I'm pretty sure the Catans had an abysmal win rate in CMOD 2. I'm quite certain. I had that. I kept that data. I don't know if I still have it anymore. I'll have to look. I'm pretty sure they're terrible. But all right. Anyway, Catans are not a part of this set, so we will instead be moving on to Serengeti as game 1. Lots of options, honestly. It's probably not going to be... It's not going to be Berbers or Turks for Serengeti, but I wouldn't hate any of these other civs. Probably not Koreans, ideally, or Dravidians. This is not the map for the Dravidians to shine. But there are options here. All Frost taught him was camel spam. Okay. Nice. You remember Shixo freaked out when your opponents had camel pockets, but then you won every game against camel pockets? That weren't Hindu, yeah. Well, Hindustanis are like the camel pocket civ, right? Did no one else play Gurjaras except for... Oh, Sekiro. Okay, alright. Did no one else play Gurjaras except for you, for the most part, Otter? I know some people did, but like... I can't remember how well the Gurjaras actually did outside of your team. I know you had a pretty good win rate with them. But yeah, Catans were played a lot. I remember at least 3 Socotra games where Catans were played to no effect. They're just not a good civ, I don't think. Alright. Let us jump in to the first game here, though. See what we're working with. Alright. I guess these colors are alright. So, welcome in game 1. We've got Biscuits versus Auriko here in Serengeti for game 1 of their Tarnished Deathmatch 6 set. It is the Franks for Biscuits up against the Bulgarians for Auriko. So, alright. Fairly similar civs from a unit composition standpoint. It's going to be probably infantry, siege, and cav on both sides. A little bit more infantry for Bulgarians, a little bit more cav probably for Franks, but let's see here. Biscuits going for the quick walls. Does not get it. Where did the light cav go? Down here. Okay. Biscuits is scouting the already... Oh, did Biscuits think this was the base? No. These are not main golds, Biscuits. These are not main golds. And now he's going here. Oh, it's a disaster. Where's the base? It's always going to be by these main golds. Alright, we got there. We figured it out. Paladin do arrive. There's already a couple of Krepos up, though, for Auriko. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult to find too much eco damage. But there are some villagers out here. Paladin are trying to dive on them. That's one villager down. There's three more vills over here that could go down. And they do. So even though Biscuits did a world tour before reaching Auriko's base, quite a lot of damage being found. That's 7 villagers already dead for the bolt. Oh, and where is this guy going? Brother, now is not the time to mine stone. 8-1. There is some cavalry filtering into Biscuits' base. So maybe some return damage can be found here, but it's a rough start. It's a rough start. 8-2 now. All right, we're getting the composition out here. Esso, Halb, Conic. Should, I think, theoretically be... It's full Paladin, though. 70 Paladin in queue for Biscuits. Biscuits is selling heavily at the market in order to continue making Paladin. That was a good shot with the SO. Really good engagement, actually. The Halb getting in good damage. Biscuits is playing like your average ladder Frank picker and just making nothing but Paladin. I mean, the mobility is going to be nice. I don't know if Biscuits is ever going to be able to take a straight-up fight to very good effect. These are nice snipes on the siege, though. These are really nice snipes on the siege. Auriko looking away from the main push here a little bit, maybe. Is still getting good damage when the Halbs actually take fights, but Paladin are Paladin. Castle is going to be denied. More Halb coming up behind. Still tons of res in the bank for Auriko. But things are looking a little spicy back in the base. More TCs, I like that. Just getting TCs down, honestly, like these look kind of funny because they're quote unquote farm TCs, but I like just getting TCs down, especially underneath Krepos and stuff. It's actually quite good, I think. More Paladin just taking bad fights but still winning against Halb in the middle. Castle was completed by Biscuits, by the way. 10-8 eco KD is what it ends up being, so evened out pretty well there. Biscuits is out of res. There's no food left, there's no gold left, so hopefully these 72 Paladin can win the game. There are some throwing axemen being mixed in as well. Otter will be very happy. Biscuits is going throwing axemen and drafted Gurjara's top 3. I think if there's an Otter alt in the tournament, it might be Biscuits this time. Auriko sometimes makes a wonder instead of a castle. That is flexing on your opponents right there. That is peak mental damage against your opponent if they roll into your base and see a wonder there. Hopefully you notice it's a wonder before it's built, I suppose, but these could be huge SO shots, but once the Halb go down, all these SO are dead. They do snipe most of the trebuchets, so this castle will stay standing a bit longer. Paladin numbers are not looking too hot for Biscuits. There's only 25 left. Like I said, there's not really res behind this, so if those 70 Paladin couldn't win the game, it might get a little spicy for Biscuits, and, well, they didn't win the game. And it's getting a little spicy for Biscuits. Conix in the eco, denying TCs, killing all kinds of villagers back here. Suddenly, Auriko has the huge villager lead. And, I mean, the push is still going for Biscuits at the front, but we're below 40 total population, which is not a good sign. And I think Auriko is held here really nicely. It was a really rough opening, but calmly defended, was making the right units, expanded behind, which is what you like to see, raided when possible. I think made all the right choices after that discouraging start. Really good response. Shrubs are all going down. Biscuits is dead. There's nothing here. There's 20 villagers. There's no res. There's no military. Maybe full Frank Paladin is not that good after all. Much to the dismay of Frank enjoyers. Needed more throwing axemen maybe and fewer Paladin, unironically. Biscuits is selling wood and stone, but I don't know for what. Because we need both gold and to buy food, which is not a good combo. Yeah, the GG has to be called. Game 1 goes to Auriko. Really nice job. You made too many barracks. Full Paladin is the way. Yeah, Frank's needed something else, right? Their own onagers. There were some onagers for a while there, but... Or no, there weren't. It was all Auriko's, right? So yeah, the full Paladin, I don't know, man. It's very strong initially, but you gotta transition into something else, or else you're just gonna die to Helb. Alright, that's a good first game. We like that. We like that, we like that. Auriko goes up. That is the Franks losing to the Bulgarians. So both penultimate draft choices butting heads there. And that was green, right? All right, we like that. A little quick game 1. Game 2 is going to be Rune Stones. Yeah, it is weird that the Franks and the Bulgarians are the same draft position. That does not happen super often. Okay, I said runestones, right? Runestones. So, wouldn't hate Dravidians here. Slavs and Celts are obviously like the go-tos for Auriko. Probably Celts are the best. Slavs maybe a little bit better for like, well, yeah, Slavs maybe a little bit better for like Aftermath. So probably Celts. And then Biscuit. Thinking maybe Georgians. Could go Romans here. But I think I like Roman. I think I like Romans a little bit more on Aftermath. Georgians a little bit more here. Malians are viable. I think unironically, Malians would be the civ I don't pick at all here if I'm Biscuits throughout the entire series, but I've become a little jaded. I like the Malians a lot. I've become jaded to them over the first week or so of this tournament. Yeah, more Axemen, not trying to just bulldoze over the Halbs with all of those Paladin, right? Like, you can do that, but like I said, you have to kill. And the damage was just not quite there. All right, let's jump into it. Welcome in Game 2, Biscuits versus Auriko here on Runestones. It is going to be the Malians for Biscuits. All right, Malians it is. It is the Celts for Auriko. I think that makes a lot of sense. It's not going to be the easiest matchup in the world for Biscuits here, I don't think. But maybe you can find early damage, play into, like, Gabetto. Maybe. We'll see. We're going to need some early damage here, though. The mobility is heavily in the Malians' favor to start off. Light Cav can't quite get the villager snipes. That Light Cav, look at the damage it did. It got so close to killing 3 different villagers, but just could not quite get it done. A little bit of a body blocking moment there. Going to be infantry siege. That's all the Celts want to make, realistically. Malians, this is maybe too many Cavalier. It's Biscuits just wants to play Cav, man. I respect it. Just embrace it and be the Cav counterpart of Maxi and just go Paladin Cavalier every single game. Full send. Normally, I would say probably making 100 Cavalier with the Malians is a little bit too much. But we'll see how it works out. Again, Halb, really good defense. Auriko did not take nearly as much damage in this one as the previous game. And probably will not. Oh, we're seeing Malian Cav Archers for the second time today. How many Malian Cav Archer plays can we see in one day? It's gonna be at least 2. It's gonna be at least 2. Alright. This is gonna be terrible, right? I feel like this is going to go so bad. Malian Cavalier Cav Archer against the Celts. Castle does complete forward. That was really nice timing for... Look at how little damage this castle does. Holy... The Celt SO just ate like 6 volleys out of that castle. That was crazy. That was wild, actually. I was like, okay, a couple SO are going to go down with the timing of that castle going up. Nah, they just tank it. It's fine. Cav Archers run into the Halb a little bit over here. Biscuits has gotten now 3 Eco kills. Eco KDs, I almost said. 4. Okay, denies the castle. Is kind of... I mean, the army is not doing well. But... if you just do enough damage, sometimes it's fine. Unironically, I think it is a full send here. Yeah, champions. This is what... It's still not great against Celt infantry, but I think it's better against all this stuff than the Cav Archers and the Cavalier. Maybe not, though. The more I think about it, I'm not sure. Cav Archers getting eaten up. And I think it's not looking good for our boy Biscuits here. Celts maybe a little bit too strong for the Malian Cav Archer play. Alright, well, we're going to lose the forward, that's for sure. Auriko is going to get the castle up on this forward goal. That's nice. Also protects the backside of this wood line decently. Another castle going down. How is the res looking here for Biscuits? It's still okay for the time being. Also does have an eco lead. Mobility is still very much in Biscuits' favor, so I like these little groups running to the sides. Might be able to dive in here, snipe the villager on the castle. Nice. But castle will go down. How do you stop? Oh my goodness. 19 SO and 31 scorpions. I mean, it's going to have to be Onager, I guess, but... It is, okay, it is SO at least for the Malians, so we're going to have to hope for some crazy SO shots. I don't know... Oh my gosh. It's probably not super easy, right? I don't know if there are like breakpoints for the Celt HP in these SO wars. I don't know how important that is, but it probably is quite important, right? There's been a lot of death here today. It's not the worst. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be for Biscuits, I'll put it that way. Cavalier try to roll in, but there are so many scorpions behind that they're just getting machine gunned down. Bombard cannons trying to escape the infantry, and they're coming forward into the siege. Suddenly the res is not looking quite so hot for Biscuits anymore. Puts a ton of farms down, but these farms are coming down really close to this forward push. This is nice. Cav Archers being annoying in the back. I think they get cleared up here, though. But delaying 2 TCs, doing, you know, this is the kind of thing we need to be doing with the faster composition, right? Cavalier, I mean, you just can't take this fight, right? GG is called. It's like, there is a viable win condition in trying to just raid your opponent to death, but I think the Celt Castles are placed really well back here for Auriko. So I don't know how much you can realistically raid, and there's just no way this is getting cleared up from this position, I don't think. I guess you could have tried to buy another however many onagers you can with this amount of gold. Maybe you take one big fight and you can reverse things, but a lot of damage had already been done. You can't have 3 OP civs when you're a guest. Yeah. Yeah, it's been I mean the civs are strong here, right? Auriko gets another win here. That is the Malians. And that is Runestones. Going to the opponent's home map there was Biscuits, by the way. I mean it wasn't well, I guess I was gonna say it wasn't a terrible draft for Biscuits, but like Gurjaras and Malians in the middle here when there was still Turks, Bulgarians, Koreans open. Magyars, no, they were banned out. Was there anything else super strong here that was passed over? Tatars, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It was tough. It's a little tough. It's a little tough. And yeah, I guess the other thing is you could have not banned quite so many of these good civs here, right? So then you're guaranteed at least a third and fourth good civ, regardless. Banned Mongols and Huns and then picked counters to Mongols and Huns. Well, the Berbers are for water, I think. I guess you could have. Well, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough, man. It's tough. What do we got for game 3? Aftermath. Aftermath. Okay, so I'm thinking Slavs versus Georgians, Romans. Where are the Gurjaras going? Is maybe my other question. Because I don't think I would pick Gurjaras here going forward, but maybe this is the map if they're going to be chosen. I don't think they feel particularly good on Fez. I mean, they're fine, I guess. They're a bit speedier than the Georgians and the Romans, who are usually trying to stay around their siege, even though they do have fast options. So I guess Fez makes a little more sense for the Gurjaras, and then if you're anticipating the Slavs here, I guess it's the Georgians. Feels a little bit better than the Romans. I guess for Aftermath, I'm choosing Georgians versus Slavs as my prediction. Let's see how we do. Let's see. Let's see. One could always pick them on shoals and try to play land versus Turks. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you could try to sneak in a Berbers, I suppose. To like a different map. Alright. Well, I was half right. Classic. Welcome in. Game 3, Auriko versus Biscuits. We are here on Aftermath. It is indeed the Slavs for Auriko, so I think I'm 3 for 3. Am I? Okay, 3 for 3 for Auriko, or did I say Slavs in the previous game? I can't remember now. It's the Gurjaras here for Biscuits, so not what we were anticipating. Gurjaras on Aftermath. Okay, well. Maybe. Let's see what the composition is going to be here. Hopefully, my only hope here, as that's a nice snipe on that villager, my only hope is that Biscuits does not queue up 90 camels against the Slavs. It's one thing if it's Frank Paladin, like, I get it. Even the Malian Cavalier, like, I kind of get it. Please do not queue up 90 camel riders versus the Slavs. Camels are okay against the Slavs at a certain point. The Slavs do eventually transition into Boyar, into, you know, Hussar, whatever. That's not their opening, though. They do not open with that. They open up with straight Halb, and these camels are not going to do well against straight Halb. Maybe they can find another Vil kill here. Okay. Value. 1-to-1, Eco KD. They're going to try and snipe some Scorpions, I guess, but that is going to be difficult to do. Biscuits going for the early side control. I like that, but I don't know if this castle's going to happen. There are quite a few camels here to at least take a bad fight against the Halb and maybe clear them up. Camels on both sides. Okay, Biscuits rethinks that castle position and goes for it up on the hill. We like castles on hills, for sure. More siege workshops, so Halb, Onager, Boyar. That's what you want as the Slavs, and that is what Auriko is teching into. Now, full map control for Biscuits is nice, but Biscuits has had full map control both of the previous 2 games, I'm pretty sure. Or quite close to it. And it just has not happened because you run out of steam by rolling your expensive cavalry units into Halb. It's not quite as expensive, the camels, I suppose, compared to Paladin, but... Alright. Elephant Archers, I like this a bit more. It's still going to be a little bit interesting, trying to fight up against the SO, but... I think this is about as good of a unit as you can make in this matchup. I wonder if it, instead of camels, I wonder if it's ever just straight up Elephant, Archer, and Shrivamsha as the Gurjaras here. Is that ever viable? Probably not, right? Alright, we are mixing some Shrivamsha in. I mean, the Shrivamsha should do better than the camels, I think. I just don't know if it's good enough. Did Biscuits play Pocket in CMOD 2? I think so, right? I don't remember. I want to say yes, but I don't remember. This is a pocket play sort of thing, right? Just spam cav out is kind of what you do in team games, so that would make sense. Here come the elephants. Here come the camels. Here come the Shrivamsha. Sniping the siege. Camels are eating some pretty big SO shots. But the SO does go down. So on it, well, there's a lot of dead blue bodies here, but I think that wasn't a terrible fight as far as it goes. Camels will do okay against the Boyar. Still decent map control for Biscuits. Eco is stronger for Biscuits as well. The boom is progressing nicely. Shravamsha do dodge SO shots, but if you're hitting them with, 12 SO at once, they're probably not dodging all that. I've noticed Auriko tends to spread out around the back. Like everyone does that a bit, but it seems much more backwards focused compared to forwards expansion focused. Maybe that's just a byproduct of the fact that Biscuits has been super aggro in every game, so Auriko's always kind of on the back foot for the first few minutes, but unironically, I think this is maybe the part of the answer to this composition issue. Chakram throwers. we need a lot more than 6 of them, but I actually think maybe there is some composition with the chakram throwers that could do decently here. Okay, Shravamsha gonna try and dive on the SO. Elephants are avoiding most of those shots decently. Okay, elephants can maybe clear up these Halb now. We really need a good answer for the Halb, though. And there's no more food left for the elephants, is the unfortunate thing. Shravamsha are the most fun unit in the game, but not the best. The most fun unit in the game, man. That is so not my experience with the Shravamsha, but usually I'm the one being Shravamsha, not the one playing Shravamsha, so that probably does account for the discrepancy a bit. Okay, we've got some TC denial in the back with some elephants. Both sides are... You have to be so close to these trade workshops, man. There we go. Both trade workshops are under Biscuits' control. But yet again, it just kind of feels like the same story, right? Biscuits is going to run out of resources before Auriko does. That being said, wood is an issue for our Slavs player back here. It's been all wood, right? Halb, Onager, Scorpion. Jigsaw, thank you for the raid and the follow. GG's on the set. We just cast your set as well, so really, really well played. Really fun to watch. I appreciate the raid and the games and the follow. Just because you won? Yeah. If it was a loss, you absolutely do not raid here. I appreciate it, man. We are watching a wreck here, Biscuits versus Auriko in a somewhat lower down division, slightly. It's looking like a bit of a stomp here, though. I don't know if we're going to see the full 5 games to decide the set like we did from Shikso earlier. But we're not out yet. Biscuits has a decent amount of onagers here at the front. Still has good control over the sides, although we've got some forward castles coming up for Auriko. Shravamsha are not going to be able to hold the line against the Boyar either. Very much not so. But for the first time in this series, Biscuits actually has a pretty good eco setup behind this. So I was just saying, the first 2 games, the story of the first 2 games has basically been Biscuits going super hard and then burning out of res before he has the eco to sustain, and then he just dies. Now we actually have a bit of economy behind this. So maybe Biscuits can get something rolling in this one. The only set of the noob division. Yeah, I did notice that. Everyone gets a nice, like, beginner or intermediate or something division title, and then this one just is called noob for some reason, so I don't know. Must have been a weird mistake by whoever decides these things. I don't know what that was. Castle denied. Over on the left-hand side, this castle was also denied by a castle. So side control still decent for Biscuits. Middle is a bit up for grabs. Both players trying to get a handle on wheeling their slow SO where it needs to be on the field. Rebs go down. Shravamsha roll in. The Shravamsha are actually doing quite well in this game. I was only partially serious when I suggested that we needed Shravamsha here, but they've actually done a quite good job of sniping the siege. They do really badly against the Halb. So they fully need to be just siege snipers and nothing else. Castle is forced up with the help of some Boyar and Halb over on the left-hand side, so Auriko should have semi-solid control over this trade workshop for the time being. Beginning to treb down the castle on the right. There's not a huge army here, but there's nothing of an army here for Biscuits, so guess we'll have to focus on the middle. Elephants are getting SO'd, which is not ideal. Boyar now are running through. There's not enough camels here to really deal with the Boyar, so they can snipe out the onagers. There are more camels coming, though. If all the Boyar go down, maybe all this siege gets cleared up for Auriko. But is there going to be anything left behind this push by the time that happens? No, not really. More Halbs coming in defense. Woo, big SO shots into our own army a little bit there. We've got the weirdest Treb war I've ever seen happening over on the right-hand side. A singular Treb. Dravamsha show up. A little bit cheating. We were having a one-on-one standoff, but it's alright. Biscuits super boomed. 142 villagers is really nice. I just question what the Gurjaras, like, again, it's kind of a bit of a draft difference, right? I don't know what the Gurjaras should be making here. I don't know. There's also a lot of monks here. I'm not sure where all these monks came from. They're just chilling out by the monasteries. There's more relics out on the field. Not necessarily in places they can go get, I suppose. Auriko's doing a really good job of multitasking. Treb's over on the left. Might get sniped by the Shravamsha, but they might take out this castle first. No. The repair villagers should be fine. But is kind of paying attention over here. The Treb war continues to be a very strange thing. Both castles went down. Now it is straight up a Treb war. But Auriko looks like is going to gain control over this trade workshop again after all. And even the center push is progressing nicely. Okay, the monks have been brought into position for Biscuits. I'm very interested to see what they do here. They don't get block printing. Gurjaras actually have a surprisingly good monastery. I never think of them as a monk civ, but it's pretty good. Oh my god. Auriko tasked the villagers to go capture this trade workshop, but you basically have to be touching this building in order to capture it, so they just walked out to it and walked back. I think this is probably the least important, not complaint, but like, what do you call it? What's the non-negative version of complaining? Like, change I would suggest. Probably the least important change I will ever suggest is that I think they should increase the range, the capturability range on those trade workshops. Castle denied in the corner as Biscuits has been hunkered down here for quite some time. Castle does fall on the left-hand side here. Just one more tile, yeah. Just one more tile. It's happened in every single Aftermath game I've cast so far. It happened in the Shikso game earlier. I don't remember if it was Shikso or the opponent. I can't remember which it was, but every single game I've seen on Aftermath, there's been at least one moment where there's a unit standing right next to the trade workshop, just not capturing it. I think this is not going so good for Biscuits. The eco is still really strong, but there's just nothing to make here as the Grujaras. Like, the Elephant Archers are a very strong unit, but up against all this SO, it just tends not to come good. That was a nice shot. The Hussar and the Camels and the Shrivampsha are like good for raiding. They can be okay sniping the siege, but in a straight up fight, they can't really do it against the Halb. Ram push. Okay. Castle's gonna go down for Auriko over here, but the Rams might be able to return the favor. I don't think so, though. They take out the Trebs right as the castle falls. Classic. Okay, we got to get the Halbs in here. Shrivampsha are not going to be able to take that fight. Halbs are clearing up a lot of eco back here for Biscuits. Still one Ram remains. But everything else is dead, so I think this one Ram's actually going to take this castle out. Halb doing decently in the middle. Elephants, oof. Taking a bad fight against the Halb. So many places to look at once. It's crazy how many flashing lights there are. Across the minimap right now. Okay, the trebuchets have finally arrived. The Ram. This is kill stealing at its finest, man. That Ram did so much work only for these 8 Trebs to show up. Sorry, 6. And finish it off. Not fair. Boyar's in the wood line. And I think this is probably approaching a GG moment here for our friend Biscuits, unfortunately. This game was a little bit stronger for Biscuits, I think. I liked the not quite all-in approach. I do wish Biscuits had taken the not all-in approach when the Civ matchup was a little bit better in the previous games. But, you know, it's fine. We're getting there. Camel raids. There are a lot of castles in the eco here, though, so I don't know how much damage they're going to find. Everything's been cleared up in the right-hand corner. Castle is being trebbed in the middle, but the total population for Biscuits has plummeted, fallen off the cliff in the last few minutes here. Yeah. There's no wood. It actually, unironically, it is going to be a wood game for Biscuits. Not because the game has gone on super long, but just because there's no more wood lines left to take on one side of this game. These are good raids. The raiding is actually quite good for Biscuits here. It's just, I don't know. The pushes are the bigger issue, right? And I don't think you can stop these pushes. The Rams are rolling in on the right. This is a pretty good push, but unfortunately Auriko has 2,600 stone in the bank. So it's going to take these 2 Trebs about a year to take this castle out, with the repair villagers underneath it. And Trebs roll inexorably forward. They've got new castles in their sights. They're going to try and dive, but the Halb are in really good position for Auriko here. And, well, that's about all I have to say. I'm running out. I'm running out of things to say about this game. I think it's over. There's a GG. Auriko is up 3-0. Has gone through now all of the really good civs, I guess. So theoretically, there could be a reverse sweep muster. It's not a reverse sweep because Auriko already won the set, but maybe there could be some good games here in the back end. Used all the APM to get the trade post, and it resulted in nothing. Yeah. Yeah, I think they should. Honestly, they should increase the range of capturability for the trade posts, and they should also just increase the resources they give you. In my opinion, I think it's a little lackluster the way that it is right now. All right, this is what we're looking at, but. On the positive side for Biscuits, I think the Civ draft has finally reached a point where I prefer Biscuits remaining civs. So, that's something. It's taken the majority of the series for us to get here, but I do think I prefer Berbers, Georgians, and Romans, even though I do love me some Dravidians. I think I do prefer the civs here. All right, what's our next map? It's going to be Shoals. So we're anticipating Berbers Turks. That's what I've been anticipating the whole time. No reason for me to change my guess now. And let's jump right in, I think. No reason to wait around. So welcome in Game 4, Biscuits versus Auriko. Here we are on good old Shoals. I was excited to see this map drafted. It doesn't get played as often as I would like to see it played. In this tournament so far, at least. It is indeed the Berbers for Biscuits up against the Turks for Auriko. And we'll see nice quick wall on that villager. This Vil probably not going to make it. But even just getting one dock up is really nice there. If you lose both villagers, things get a little spicy. Biscuits a little bit slow. What map was this? This was Auriko's home map, right? So I'm curious to see what the build order looks like for Biscuits. Obviously, you can tell. Usually more docks equals more better on Shoals. That's my scientific expert opinion, is that more docks equal better. So Auriko is winning in that regard. Demo. Nice. Takes out 2 villagers and denies a dock. Very nice. Also, yeah, this might be a quick game, actually. Oh, geez. 2 docks went up for our Berbers player, but that might be it. Turk camels should not be good against the Berber camels here. It's just straight up more expensive, right? But they do well enough to snipe some villagers, slow down the docks. Ooh, these heavy camel riders are taking their lives into their own hands here against the demos. Auriko is not noticing. Very lucky for Biscuits that those demos did not decide to stop off on the way to the middle. I'd like to see the camels hanging out up here, though. I think this is a bit of lack of experience on the water maps. Like, usually you'd want to dive through, catch the villagers out on the back here, but most of the at-risk villagers are actually on the front when it's Shoals. That could have been 4 really good Vil snipes for Biscuits, but Camel's unable to find those Vils. Meanwhile, Camel on Camel violence in the back. Both players are thinking about castles on the sides. I like to see that. It's very, very on the side, though. I guess this is nervous about camels being around, too. That's why we're not seeing the castle, like, up in here more. Demos. Did find some camels this time, so Biscuits maybe needs to not send the camels through the middle anymore, ideally. There are a lot of camels out here, though. It is possible, if Biscuits were actually to dive on the base here with all these camels, it's possible to actually take the win here. Obviously, the water is not going to be great. But it's been pretty good. It hasn't been bad for Biscuits. It's been full demo for the most part. A couple galleons now. But water is at least being contested, and then unless we're running into demos, the land has been going really well for the Berber player here. But we gotta take a fight. We gotta take a fight. Alright. It's not the best fight in the world, but we do at least take a fight. Where are all of these camels on the field for Biscuits? There are so many of them. Okay, some are coming left. Some are going right. They are going to cause some issues over here. They kill a villager trying to build 1 TC. They're going to kill this Janissary and the Cav Archers. Also deny the castle on the left-hand side. So this is actually not that bad. Auriko having to focus on land so much, not quite able to pay attention to the water, and suddenly the demos are getting picked off by the galleons. I don't normally love galleons in DM, at least it depends on the map, I suppose, but they're putting in the work pretty well here. Auriko's out of gold. I guess both players are out of gold, actually. Both players are out of gold, but the military, the navy is way better for Biscuits, and the military is equivalent, I would say, at least for the time being. See how much raiding damage can get done here by Auriko. Villagers do garrison in the castle. That Ville's left out to dry. Committing underneath this castle, I don't know about that. Looking like water has been fully won by our Berber player. But right-hand side has been denied. Left-hand side is still viable for Auriko to win. Camel Archers are going to do quite well in these fights, but you do need a decent amount of them. Only 13 on the field for Biscuits. I think I'd like to see at least 30 out right now. There's a decent amount of castles. I guess it's only been 3 castles, but still. Gotta keep that production up, I think. Just straight up camels maybe is a better use of gold. I don't know. It's hard for me to say. Full water control for Biscuits. And there are cannon galleons out here, so they can rip down quite a few buildings in Auriko's main base. Might still be able to range that castle by the water as well. Look at this, Biscuits fighting back in the top side. Looking really good, 120, just shy. Military on the field versus only 34. Now, obviously, you know, about a third of that is on the water for Biscuits, but still. Berber camels, man. The cheapness really does make a difference. Yeah, I think this might be a Biscuits victory on Shoals. Unless, I guess the only thing here is Biscuits is low on food as well. So if Auriko dumps a ton of vills on gold, it's going to be a little bit easier to fix the economy in the short term compared to the position Biscuits is in right here. But I don't know if it's going to matter. Another good fight for the camels. There's Trebs to back this up. Raids are coming in, but this shouldn't be an issue for the camels Biscuits has in defense. And Auriko calls the GG. Berber is overpowered, man. We like to see that. I'm glad that this was not a sweep. I'm very glad this was not a sweep. Berbers are good. And Biscuits played this really well, considering this was an Auriko home map. Like, the opening was a little shaky. There weren't quite as many docks as I would like to see early on from Biscuits, but really good job spamming out Navy, contesting water while also getting a bunch of camels out on the field, playing both sides really well. This was a really, really good game by Biscuits. Thought Turks would dominate once water is won, but didn't win water. Yeah, exactly. That's the issue, right? Like, Turks struggle, I would say, against the Berbers on land. Everything the Turks want to do, they want to do Cav Archers, they want to do maybe Camels or Hussar, right? That's like their main composition, and then Bombard Cannons. It's pretty well countered by the Berbers on land, so you do want to win water for sure in this matchup, but Biscuits played it well. Yeah, I think the early raids and side play by Biscuits really split the focus for Auriko, right? We saw a couple times like there were a lot of demos hanging out here getting picked off by the Galleons sort of towards the end of the water fight. I think I didn't notice it earlier than that, but it very easily could have been the case that, you know, if you're paying attention to this and you're paying attention to the stuff back here, maybe you're not taking the best trades on water with demos and whatnot. No, I don't think Auriko played Galleon. I think Biscuits opened demos and then transitioned into Galleons somewhat early, a little bit earlier than usually I suggest. I think it was just straight up demo for Auriko. That's the only naval unit I saw anyway. Okay, Berbers get the win. They needed that real bad. And we'll see if Biscuits can claw this back into a fairly solid ending result. As we move on to Fez. I'm anticipating Dravidians, and honestly, if I'm expecting Dravidians, I probably go Romans here as Biscuits. But Georgians might not be terrible either. Romans kind of hard counter the Dravidians, though, it's got to be said. Not totally, but that's a tough matchup for the Dravidians, I will say that. Yeah, full Luchuan. Not full Luchuan. We saw Brycelyn not do so well going full Luchuan earlier in the series. All right, let's go into our final game. Let's see if Biscuits can pull back a little mini comeback at the end. So welcome in. Final game, Biscuits versus Auriko. We are here on Fez. It is the Georgians for Biscuits, okay, and it is indeed the Dravidians for Auriko. So I'm counting on you big time here, Auriko. You gotta show the power of the Dravidians to the disbelievers in chat. Not naming any names, but certain disbelievers in chat that think the Dravidians are not a good civ. We got to bring it back. All right. Hussar, not finding too much opening value. So it's going to be Elephant Archer, Halb, maybe some champions, probably ideally SO as well for the Dravidians. Expensive composition, but it's a good one. Champion opening. Champion opening. What? Against the Dravidians? That seems so bad. The Dravidians have really good infantry because of their Woot's Steel. Basically means their infantry do an extra 4 damage to the opposing champions. Do Georgians don't get any bonus, do they? For infantry? No. Okay. This feels wrong, but alright, we'll see what Biscuits is cooking up here. He's got Cav Archers behind, which are okay for the Georgians. They don't get Thumb Ring, which is kind of a big deal, but they do regenerate. That's not... The regen doesn't matter as much in DM, because usually when Cav Archers are dying, they're just getting nuked by SO or something. But maybe that's something. People just want to lose to Dravidians. Hey, the Dravidians are so strong that they confuse their opponents into not knowing what unit to make against them. People see Dravidians and they're like, what can I possibly do against this civilization? There's nothing. Early expansion for Auriko into the north, getting a TC down on the stone, also getting a dock up early, demoing the Cav Archers there, interesting. And just kind of camping in the pass here between Biscuits base and the top side. Massing up those elephants. SO are on the way, bombard cannons. It's a really good composition for Auriko. Behind this, it is Cav Archer Champion. And SO. Okay, I think champions are petering out here for Biscuits, which they should. Cav Archer SO with the Georgians. Why do people hate Manaspa so much? Every time I see the Georgians played, it's like people do not want to make Manaspa with them. I don't understand why. I know they've been nerfed a couple times, but like they're still the best unit the Georgians can make by a pretty hefty margin, I think. Obviously, SO is part of that composition as well, but... Oh, please do not nuke your own Cav Archers! Oh, God! Don't even need the SOs to Dravidians. We'll nuke our own army, it's fine. SO. Gonna get some return damage into these elephants, though. And it's pretty good. The Cav Archers are not good here, for the record. It's 6 Pierce Armor plus like a gabillion HP. And they regenerate as well. So the Cav Archers really do not do a ton of business against the elephants. That was like I think that was one of the few sets I haven't seen yet, Nat, so that figures. I'm glad someone's making it, them at least. Okay, elephant's chilling out a little bit here. We gotta switch off the Cav Archers. Okay, Manaspa now being produced a little bit. Probably gonna need a few more castles, ideally. I wouldn't hate another... Oh, well, not a castle here, I guess, because there's elephants there. But, like, another castle in here somewhere would be probably alright. Elephants raiding in the south. Okay, Georgians are getting some good trades with their onagers now. Bombard cannons behind for Auriko are sniped by the Manaspa. So maybe there's still some reversal opportunity here for Biscuits. The only downside here is... resources are going to run out real fast for Biscuits. Already having to hit that market to keep up. This might be too many SO. We do need something besides just SO. Spamming out the TCs in the bottom is Auriko. Eventually, the Dravidians will switch into Light Cav or something, right? To deal with the pure SO composition here. But let's see. For now, it's working quite well for Biscuits. And that was a pretty good trade for Auriko. Okay, 1-1. What's going on back here? We've got those Georgian champions sniping some vills. That's nice. Bombard cannons working way at the castle here, though. Dravidian Light Cav? Yeah! Unironically, if you had 30 Dravidian Light Cav on the field, you'd clear all of this army and probably win the game right now. There's nothing on the field. Okay, there's some Manaspa coming out now, but there has not been anything on the field to deal with Light Cav in the past 10 minutes or 5 minutes, maybe. Also, Dravidian Light Cav, I stand by the fact they're a little bit underrated. They get Woot Steel, they get Husbandry now. So they're still a decent sniping unit, I think. But I guess the Bombard Cannons are putting in the work just about as good. Halbs also, as long as they can get in there, actually doing pretty good work. This is the issue with only having Onager. Castle behind now for Biscuits. These Cav Archers, bro. Why are we making so many Cav Archers? We've seen so many Cav Archer plays today. We've seen Malian Cav Archers twice. Georgian Cav Archers. There's a GG. We've seen so many crazy Cav Archer compositions where they really should not be made. Dravidian's OP! Yet another Dravidian win. Beast of a Civ, what can I say? And yet another game on Fez where players are completely ignoring the fish, much to our admin's dismay. All right. Auriko closed out 4-1 over Biscuits. It was Biscuits clearly has really good what's the word I want? Like fundamentals, I guess, but I'm thinking more like mechanics. Really good mechanics. I think if there's just a little bit of a step back and breathe moment for Biscuits in these games where there's a moment to say, okay, maybe I don't need to keep making this unit. I can switch into this unit. I can, take my foot a little bit off the gas pedal, play for a bit of a longer game. I think Biscuits would find a much better result in these 1v1s, at least for this set. I think that would have done well. But solid for both. Auriko looked really good here. Really, really good, honestly. The only real, like, it was just that water map, right? It was just losing water on shoals. That was really the only thing that went wrong for Auriko this entire series. Played really well defensively at the start of these games. Biscuits was always the aggressor every single time. I guess Shoals, ironically, Shoals was probably the least in that way, but played defensively really well, opened the correct units, was always playing towards the correct composition, I think. Was Auriko here in every game, so that's always a really good sign. Yeah, we need a show match, Dravidians versus other civs, and see how many they can beat. Yeah, champion CA versus the Dravidians is certainly an interesting choice. It's stuff like that, like it's like I said, mechanically, Biscuits looked quite good in this series. It was just the stuff around the games, right? The draft was a little bit weaker. The unit composition choices were a little funny sometimes, stuff like that. So that's a good thing, though. It's much more difficult to get better mechanically, in my opinion, than it is to get better um, strategically.